Hey, what's up guys, this is KDCloudy back with another video, and I've been traveling to Mumbai a little bit recently, and on each of my visit I make it a point to visit the beautiful theaters in the city, and I've covered quite a bit of them. And in this video we'll be talking about the Eros Cinema in Churchgate, Mumbai, one of the most historical and iconic movie theaters to ever exist in this country, and arguably this is the most important one just because of the rich history that surrounds it. And Eros Cinema is very old. Beautiful Eros Cinema was opened in 1938 by a Parsi businessman named Shivaks Kambata, who actually owned the entire building, with an architecture inspired from the Piccadilly Circus in London, and the name derived from the Eros statue in the same place. Eros opened as a 1,000-seater theater with, beautiful plush interiors and opulent Art Deco style, and it was aiming to provide a very premium movie-going experience for the people of South Bombay, and it was one of the 3 single-screen theaters in South Bombay, including Regal and Metro Cinema. Also, fun fact, my dad tells me he watched a movie in Eros Cinema in the 90s, Pretty Woman and one Mad Max movie, he can't recall which one. I would say both of them in 35mm, and one thing he pointed out was the air conditioning was very, very chilling in a time where air conditioning wasn't very prevalent across movie theaters. So again, that gives you a sense of how premium, Eros Cinema was back in the day. And that gives you a pretty good glimpse about the rich history of this iconic theater in its peak glory days, until the advent of multiplexes. In the 2000s, the theater was struggling. It started showing Hindi movies, I believe, and they weren't really able to keep up with its reputation of being very premium, and it got sold off to third parties recently in 2021. But they had the intention of bringing it back into its glory days, and they hired INOX to own and operate the theater, and they renovated it and converted it into an IMAX. And all these years later, I visited that place and watched Dune 2, yet another Warner Brothers movie, for the 3rd time, and this is how it went. Just standing outside the theater has a different vibe. It's so unlike anything we see in the rest of India. It was rustic yet posh, and felt so new yet nostalgic. Now, I am no architectural expert, and I won't pretend to be, but you'll find these polished marble surfaces like everywhere. And the whole lobby area is circular. You have to take the stairs which wrap around the whole thing, and on the 2nd floor you enter the INOX entrance, and then once you enter it, it feels familiar again. The INOX lobby felt a lot similar to the INOX Paras IMAX, with mostly silver accents everywhere and just a single silver IMAX logo. And the Audi entrance is on the left side of the concessions area, and you walk in, you are greeted with the newest IMAX screen. Now, specs wise, it's roughly a 55-foot screen with the latest IMAX laser projector XT, and 6-channel audio and 307 seats. Now, the number one thing which I like to start with is the interiors, and the interiors are really, really good. The blue lighting, I think, is the main contributor to any IMAX interior. The blue light really makes a big difference, and I usually like it when the IMAX logos are on the side walls and not at the back. But in this one, I'm okay to make an exception, because the side walls have the bas relief sculpture work from the old Eros Cinema, which has existed all these years. And I'm not really sure what it's supposed to mean, but it looks really cool, and it's very, very nice that they respected the old architecture and kept some of that. Now, coming to the seats, they had the INOX trademarked uncomfortable small seats, which I don't really like. PVR seats are much better no matter where you go. But one thing which stood out to me the most was the steepness of the seating gallery. It's a very small thing which most people won't even notice, but if your seating gallery is steep and raised at a higher level, what that does to each seat is that it's closer to the screen, and what that does to your experience is that the screen appears to be bigger. It's such a small thing, but it makes a huge difference. I think this is the steepest IMAX I've ever sat on after Prasad's Hyderabad, which was an OG IMAX, and also the Palazzo IMAX in Chennai, one of the best built IMAX theaters in India right now. And this kind of a seating is difficult to do in retrofits in multiplexes inside malls because you're limited with the ceiling height. But because Eros was or still is a single screen cinema, single screens always had a balcony and the ceiling heights were very, very high. And that is why Eros didn't have to either compromise on the number of seats or on the steepness, and they could have both. And that is why the seating gallery is so steep and so staple of what an IMAX should be, and I just really, really love it. Now coming to the audio-visual quality, I watched the 4K laser presentation of Dune Part 2 again, and it was quite similar to what I watched at PVR Priya earlier that month. And the audio-visual quality depends a lot on the movie, and because it's IMAX, it's going to be very standard across all the venues, so that was good to see. The screen size is about 55 feet wide as confirmed by Inox's authorities, and it might sound low on paper, but honestly pretty much all IMAXs in Mumbai kind of measure the same, with a few feet here and there, and there are only a handful, maybe 2 or 3 IMAXs in India which measure up to a 70 feet of width. And I've also visited Lower Parel IMAX, and I would say even though the auditorium is bigger, it has more seats, the screen size is marginally bigger. And if you pick the right seat in Eros, I would say it gives you a better field of view than Lower Parel IMAX, and it's all kind of the same really. So yeah, it just depends on which kind of seat you pick. There were some issues being reported, some complaints of light leaks because of the decorative lighting which would reflect on the screen. I did not face anything like that. If anything, I noticed a bunch of wrinkles on the screen, which maybe due to some flaw in installation. It's actually very hard to notice. You won't notice it until there is a very bright scene on screen and you're very close to the screen in the first few rows. It's a small thing, but I guess if you notice it, it might ruin your experience. I tweeted about it, and one Inox official got in touch with me and this issue was conveyed, so hopefully it's fixed in the future. And yeah, audio wise, Eros IMAX appeared to have a 6-track system from IMAX, which means that there are no speakers on the side walls or on the ceiling, something which you will find on the Lower Parel IMAX. But yeah, 6-track is actually still very good. I mean, you have those 2 big full range speakers which actually do most of the job, and you have 4 speakers behind the screen with a lot of center channel activity and also the top channel activity. So it's still very good, but I still felt that the Dune experience in PVR Priya, which is also 12 channel, was more powerful. And even though the bass was kind of the same, I just maybe it was just placebo effect, but I do think I missed the 12 channel audio or the Dolby Atmos from Prasad's slightly bit more than the Eros's 6 channel audio. Now overall, I would say Eros IMAX is really good despite its 2 shortcomings. One, like I said, the 6 channel audio, and the second were the quality of the seats. I really don't understand why they went with those seats, especially since Eros is known for being a very premium venue, and Inox has used premium seats in its BKC venue and a bunch of other places in India, so they could upgrade the seats and the audio system, and then it would be even better. And if I'm being very honest, this technical stuff wasn't even half the reason why I loved Eros IMAX so much. It was, I think, the aura of a single screen, the interiors, the art deco theme, and single screens have their own vibe, man. It's a different vibe. I can't really explain it, and there's something very special about entering a movie theater in its own separate building instead inside a floor in a mall. So yeah, I think special is the word I would like to describe my experience at Eros IMAX. Sure, it can be improved, upgrades can be made, but yeah, Eros IMAX is very special. So if you live in South Bombay, or if you live in Mumbai, if you've been watching movies in the Lower Parel IMAX or Ghatkopar IMAX or whatever, definitely give this one a try. I promise you're really going to like the experience just because how different it is to enter a single screen auditorium and watch a movie. So yeah, definitely save the date for whenever the next big IMAX release comes around. And yeah, I think that's basically it. Let me know how you like this video, and if you've been to Eros IMAX, how do you like it? And also I would like to say that I also visited the Lower Parel IMAX, like I said earlier, and also the BKC Meso IMAX. So if you want videos on any of those, let me know. I would love to make videos on those. And I've also been, traveling here and there. I want to make videos on ScreenX, which I first experienced in Kolkata, and also 4DX, which is everywhere, but nobody seems to be sure as to what it is. So I would love to make videos about those. Let me know if you would like to watch any of those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.